Lesnar on, and who was somebody else that you mentioned as a notable that had a part-time schedule? Was there somebody else on there besides
Do
Lesnar?
me a favor. Give me about 25 minutes while I scroll this piece of shit site. Oh yeah. Oh right. Trevor Lee. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
I mean, Tanahashi was out for like 2 months with an elbow injury.
Okay, yeah, I think that was the one. So yeah, I mean, but more so, I guess Lesnar, right? Like Lesnar only wrestles a few matches a year. He works a limited schedule. Cena's been doing the same thing for the bulk of the year, and in at the biggest show of the year, he wrestled in a mixed tag team match and proposed to his girlfriend. So I don't know that he can be included on the top 10 list for 2017. I would not have him on this list.
I'm still pissed off about this Naito thing. You're telling me Tetsuya Naito doesn't crack the top 10 when you're talking about work rate, drawing ability, and overall impact in the business? Los Ingobernables de Japan, are almost as popular as the Bullet Club. And he's the head of it, and he won the G1.
I think that we should tweet Sports Illustrated from our podcast account at All Night Long WP, and maybe see if we can get some conversations going about this, because I feel like the inclusion of Cena and the omission of Naito is a glaring issue with this list, and it needs to be rectified immediately.
Well, Roman Reigns is number 3, so
I'm cool with Roman on this list. I don't mind that. I mean, I know he had a couple of situations this year where he was either injured or he was sick or whatever the situations were. But the mumps, I think, perhaps mononucleosis. I'm not sure. But he
chlamydia. I think I heard that.
Chlamydia. Yeah. That's kind of Clemasty, right? Was that one? Type. But he should be on the list in top 10. Again, I don't know if I would make him number 3, but if I'm picking out guys from WWE, I would certainly have him in the top 10. I mean, he is a good worker. At least in my opinion, I think he's a good worker. He's had a lot of big matches. He's been a featured guy for them. So like him or not, I think he's solid. He's a good. Probably in a list of the top of the guys from WWE. I'd have him on the list. I'd probably have him above Owens and Strowman from a WWE perspective, but I would not have him. I mean, I wouldn't have seen him on the list at all, and I probably wouldn't have him above Okada.
Agreed. Number 2, AJ Styles.
That's fair. I have no issues there. I mean, he's their best worker, I think, and their best wrestler overall right now, as far as the main roster guys are concerned. So I have no issue there.
Same here. Top 3 matches are against John Cena at the Rumble, Finn Balor at TLC, and Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series. And then number 1, as we talked about, is Kenny Omega. Top 3 matches of Omega in 2017 are against Okada, Wrestle Kingdom, against the Juice in the G1 Climax, and against Ishii at the New Japan Cup.
That's interesting. So they had the first Omega Okada match on his top 3, but they didn't have the 60-minute draw on there.
Yeah, and the match with Naito either. And they put the match with Juice on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely get in touch with Justin Barrasso. But sorry, give me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, again, I don't have any issue with him being on the list. The only thing that stuck out to me was just the match selection. Not that again, that's just them listing things out, but I don't know that I don't have an issue with him being on it or in consideration for number 1. But yeah, I think he's probably had better matches than the 3 that they had listed. The second one against Okada, the Naito one, I'm trying to think of the matches he had.
He had an amazing match with Ishii.
Yeah, the Ishii one from the Long Beach shows, I think, was the other one I was thinking of.
When he hit him with the Snapdragon through a table, He had a decent match with Suzuki. Really great match with Elgin. I just wouldn't have picked those. I think it's tough for me to have if top 3. I'm not going to get into my top 3 right now, but it has to be some combination of Kenny Omega, Okada, and AJ Styles for my money.
Yeah, I think that would be the case. I think that's what I would have as well. As far as if I was the top 3 were concerned, those would be the top 3 guys.
How far out of your top 10 is Trevor Lee? Did he just miss it?
I met Trevor Lee, nice dude, good wrestler. I would not have even thought of him in my list of top 10
I
for
honestly,
2017.
not to knock Trevor Lee, even though he, made it past it, my fiance twice. Not to knock him, but he probably wouldn't have cracked my top 100.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, he's just when you look at again. So again, we'll get into it next week or in a couple of days when we do the anal show. But um, thinking about the different companies and stuff, I look at Impact and there's nobody from Impact that to me warrants consideration for wrestler of the year or top 10 list or anything like that. Like there just isn't anybody there to me that qualifies. And that's no disrespect to him specifically. I just think if you look at that roster and the turnover and the changes and who's there and the quality of matches, there's just nobody that stands out to me that should be included. So
what who do you think is missing from their list?
From their list, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just looking at like WWE guys, right? So I think Reigns is on there as being good. You could probably make a case for Rollins if you're going to have some of the other guys that they put on there.
I was thinking Bobby Roode.
Yeah, I was looking at the NXT guys, right? Like Roode. You could make a case for Roode. Samoa Joe. I know Samoa Joe was kind of, again, he had a couple of things this year where he was out for brief periods of time. So you can make a case for him. I don't know. I'm trying to think, from SmackDown, like you can't really include guys like Orton or Wyatt. I would not include Cena. From Ring of Honor's perspective, I don't know if there's anybody there that you can really put into it. I just don't like Jay Lethal's not really had an outstanding year. Some of the guys that left, Dalton Castle, same thing. Guys like Cole, Fish, and O'Reilly had breaks. They had a hiatus period right before they debuted in NXT, so they just didn't have as much national exposure this year. I could tell you that a guy that I would put on it, he may not be in it. If the criteria is work rate, drawing power, and impact on the business, I don't know if you would include him. But to me, the best wrestler in NXT is Gargano. At least he's my favorite guy there. He's just his work rate to me is the best that they have down there right now. But I can understand.
I will echo those sentiments, and I will say Gargano and Aleister Black are neck and neck.
Yeah.
They're both guys that no matter what match they're in, I'm going to watch it, and it's going to be awesome. So with that being said, let's just transition to this week's NXT. I don't want to go deep. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, so real quick, but since we met that, just as we transition off there, I don't know if this list just male wrestlers only?
Yes, there is a female list.
Okay, there is a female list. Okay, all right, never mind. Then we'll keep going.
Oh, you were going to say it's a sexist list and they suck?
No, I was going to say, that based off those criteria that I would include Asuka, I think, on a list of top 10 overall, because she does have, I think her work rate she's very good in the ring, and I think her drawing power is, for what position she's at on the card is good. Just from she had the undefeated streak, she's got kind of like an aura about her and things like that. So I just think she would, if it was a mixed gender list, I would have included her.
You know what? When did this list come out? Because there seems to be this was posted. You know what? I want to post a list right now of the women's wrestlers, but I don't know if it's a direct source.
Okay.
Let me see. Let me see if this came out. Sports Illustrated top 10 female wrestlers. It's not from Sports Illustrated, so I don't want to post it. So
okay, that's
fair. I think it might be a work, but
work in the smarts. But you said you wanted to talk about this week's NXT.
Yeah, I did. I thought going into this, I really want to talk about Sean Mercer and Riley Apex. They were the two guys that fell to the Street Profits this week.
Sure.
I'm just kidding.
Sean Mercer of Evolve fame, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
No, really?
I think he was on a prelim match or in a recent set of Evolve shows, but I didn't mean to derail you on that. That's not where you were going.
No, I was going to talk about my grape drink, right? That's what they have in the Solo Cup. That's how we do it? Street Profit style?
I don't know. I don't know where to go with that. I'm not going to lie to you.
I'm pretty sure this week and did you watch their match?
This week's Street Profits match?
Yeah.
No.
I'm pretty sure the crowd was chanting "drank" when he had his Solo Cup up at the end. So that's a shoot legit comment.
Okay.
I'm not kayfabing anybody here. So this week's NXT there was two filler matches really. There was the Street Profits against the two Job Boys, two Lollipops, and then the NXT Women's Title match was Ember Moon against Sonya Deville. That match was okay, but there was zero interest in that match from anybody because I don't think anybody in the entire world thought Ember Moon was going to lose the title. However, I did completely forget Ember Moon was the champion until this came out, so that's not good for business. Main event, however, was Johnny Gargano versus Lars Sullivan, Killian Dane, and Aleister Black in a number one contenders four-way match. Going into this, see, I didn't read the spoilers or anything like that. Not even spoilers, tapings. So I assumed Aleister Black was going to win. The match definitely delivered. The review I'm reading right now kind of plays it down a little bit. I think it was a little bit better than what we got reviewed at here. I personally would have gave it 4 stars. But these guys, Lars Sullivan worked pretty well. Killian Dane destroyed him, put him through a table early on, and I think they kind of all had their moments in this match, and nobody really looked weak. Aleister Black hit Lars Sullivan with the Black Mass, was about to get the pin, and then Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish come in. And then who came out to? Did somebody come out? Am I crazy? Or who got rid of Adam Cole towards the end?
I'm trying to remember. Was it a
Gargano took out Cole with a dive? That's what.
Okay, all right.
So Gargano hits the slingshot DDT on Aleister Black, and Johnny Gargano is your number one contender for the NXT title. I'm skeptically optimistic, maybe. I would love to see Johnny Gargano as your champion. Is that going to happen, Joe?
I don't know, man. I didn't expect the Almas victory at the TakeOver War Games show. So I don't want to say that it's not possible that Gargano will win the title at the show in Philadelphia in January. But if I was going to guess now what my prediction is, I would say that he would not win it. And, I don't know if Tommaso Ciampa is ready to come back or not, but my understanding is that he's getting closer. So, I don't know if he's capable of either interfering or perhaps causing Gargano to lose as they maybe set up a one-on-one match with those guys for a future show. But that's what I'd be thinking right now if I was predicting off the top of my head.
Yep, I was thinking the same thing. I was kind of hoping that Gargano wins it and then Ciampa challenges them, and then you could have Gargano versus Ciampa at the WrestleMania weekend show. But as far as the match quality goes, I thought all these guys really it wasn't one of those matches where one guy lays on the outside. I mean, yes, Lars Sullivan was down for like a good 4 or 5 minutes when he took the bump from the table from Killian Dane, but he's a big dude, and I don't think he's ever been in a match like this. So I thought all in all it was a pretty good match.
Yeah, I think those guys they all perform well. The match is laid out nicely. The Gargano win, I think for those who didn't read the spoilers, was probably a bit of a surprise and unexpected. But I don't have any issue with the outcome. It seemed like they set up, like you're saying, they set up some different things. It seems like they set up maybe Killian Dane and Lars Sullivan possibly. They're setting up Aleister Black and Adam Cole, right, potentially. And then they've got Gargano and Almas now as the title match for the Rumble weekend show. So, if all those matches, happen, and that's your card for January, that's a pretty good start, I think, at least for 3 matches, right? If you're looking at Gargano versus Almas for the title.